It's happening, guys. President Trump's team just came out. They dropped a pretty significant bombshell that could put real money back into your pockets. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to see and hear me, okay, do me a favor, hit the like button, and just drop a quick yes in the comments if you're able to hear me. I'm talking about these Doge dividend checks up to $5,000, no more taxes on tips, and finally, oh my God, finally, relief for millions on Social Security. Guys, we have a massive update today. It is Friday, April 25th, 2025. Happy Friday, y'all. Drop a quick happy Friday in the comments down below. This is not speculation. It's on paper and the clock is ticking. But don't celebrate just yet, because what's being promised isn't what they're planning to deliver. There's a catch, and it seems like there's always some kind of a catch. And if you miss it, well, you could end up with nothing but false hope and broken promises, guys. They're using a new kind of math. Some are calling it like Trump math or something like that. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what that means for you and for your wallet, okay? And while the headlines, they're all focused on border security and the debt ceiling, the real story is hidden deep in the fine print. So it's all in this big, beautiful bill. Now, I'm going to go through this with you guys. I'm going to break it down in plain English, line by line, and I'm going to reveal to you guys how this is going to affect you, how it's going to affect your paycheck, your retirement, and yes, whether you're actually going to see that dividend check or if it's just another Washington, D.C. fantasy. And in just a moment, I'm going to reveal why only about half of American households might qualify for this so-called relief, and why the promised $5,000 payout may quietly shrink to about $1,500, if anything at all. Plus, of course, we got to talk about the secret reason that they're quietly trying to raise the debt ceiling to $5.3 trillion while telling you and me that it's all paid for. So do not blink, guys. Don't scroll away. If you care about your money, if you care about your freedom and your future, make sure you watch this video in its entirety, okay? Because what they're not saying on TV could cost you thousands. All right, so let's go ahead and start with what everybody's talking about right now. Unless you want me to start off with something else. Do you guys want me to start off on something else? I was going to talk about the $5,000 Doge dividend check. But if you want me to talk about the other items on the list, I can start there first, and we can talk about the $5,000 Doge dividend check last. What do you guys want me to talk about first? Let me know in the comments, guys. Let's see what you guys are saying. And where are you guys watching from? Let me know where you guys are watching from. Appreciate knowing where my audience is. All right, so I'm starting to see some $5,000 Doge dividend check people. All right, I guess we'll do that. All right. So this was supposed to be the game changer. Now, at one point, sources inside the House were claiming that this was practically a done deal, up to $5,000 per household. Remember how some people were saying, is it going to be $5,000 per household, or is it going to be $5,000 per person? Because if there's like 5 people in the house, would that be $25,000? Well, anyway, so up to $5,000 per household sent directly to 80 million Americans. Now, for a brief minute, that check felt real, didn't it? Some people had already started buying stuff, thinking that, hey, I'll go ahead and charge these items. I'll go ahead and buy this new laptop. I'll buy this multiple pairs of sneakers, new furniture, new lawn equipment, lawnmowers, right? Put it on a credit card, Visa, MasterCard, American Express. And when this $5,000 Doge dividend check comes in, I'll just go ahead and pay off that balance. Some people were budgeting and planning for this, right? But now the narrative is changing. Behind closed doors, lawmakers are quietly trying to walk this thing back. According to some internal sources and some recent statements, it's looking like the actual payment's going to be nowhere near $5,000. And it won't even go to 80 million people either. So what the heck is the real number then, right? I mean, reports are saying it could be less than $1,500 per household and could only possibly go to 40 or 50 million people instead of 80 million people. And they're saying like 40 to 50 million net taxpayer households, not individuals. So don't expect this to land in everybody's mailbox. There are some conditions, there are some limitations, there are some loopholes, as usual. But here's the twist, guys. Only about 20% of the savings from the Doge initiative are even being considered from these checks. But I think we already knew this. We knew that 100% of the Doge savings is not going to be sent out to the American people. From the very beginning, they were talking about 20%. So I don't think that's a big shock to most people. But what this means is if anything goes wrong, then that chunk disappears first. So this isn't just another broken promise. It's a pattern. And we've kind of seen this before, because here's what is gaining some traction. And it could make an even bigger long-term impact for working class Americans, right? So, of course, we got the major tax cuts. And yes, they've already drafted the language, which is good. President Trump is pushing for a massive tax cut package as a part of what they're calling this big, beautiful bill. And let's go ahead and break that down first, because this actually looks promising. Okay. So first thing is the tax relief on overtime income. I don't know how many of you guys are hourly. Comment down below if you're salary or hourly. Because me, I was hourly for the majority of my career. And whenever I would work overtime, I would get destroyed in taxes. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you guys. Some people are like, I don't even know if a lot of people would argue that it's not even worth working overtime because of how much more Uncle Sam's going to take from you. I disagree with that. I always worked overtime. I knew I'd get taxed a little bit more, but I still took home more. So that was all that mattered to me. I don't know how you guys see it. But anyway, imagine working all these extra overtime hours and not getting punished for your tax on your tax return, right? This is the vision that Trump wants. Trump wants overtime wages to be tax-free, and he's got my vote for that. He also wants no more taxes on tips. Think of all of the Uber drivers, all the Lyft drivers. What's that Walmart service where they deliver food? I think Costco and Sam's Club might offer something similar, but I know Walmart does the food delivery. I forget what they call it. I forget what it's called. Anyway, Uber, Lyft, all these people, waitresses, waiters, if they're getting tipped, especially if it's not cash, Uncle Sam's taking a big old chunk out of those tips. Well, Trump doesn't want you to get taxed on your tips anymore. So if you're a server, a bartender, if you're in the hospitality industry, this is huge, right? And so right now, you're taxed on money that customers voluntarily give you. Well, under Trump's plan, tips would finally be tax exempt. Eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits is also on the table here. He said it multiple times. Now, this is a big one. Millions of seniors have been taxed twice. Once they earned it, and then again when they were collecting it. This could finally end. And as a matter of fact, y'all let me know. Anybody on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, y'all let me know in the comments, guys. If you're on Social Security, how about we have Trump go a little bit further? How about we say, hey, how about a refund of all the taxes that were already taken out of our Social Security checks, on top of no tax on Social Security benefits going forward? So how about a retroactive check back to Social Security recipients for all the previous taxes that we're taking out of their Social Security checks? Because otherwise it's been double taxation since like the beginning of time. Anyway, if you support that, just drop a quick yes in the comments, guys. Say, just put like yes for SS, and I'll know what you're talking about. But yes, the 2017 Tax Cuts and the Jobs Act is getting renewed with a catch. President Trump, he is open to raising the top tax bracket from 37% to 39.6%, but only for the highest earners. Why? Because this extra revenue helps pay for tax relief for everyday Americans just like you. So, and let's not forget about the SALT deduction. That is the state and local tax deduction that was capped. Well, Trump wants to expand this thing, especially for the middle class families that are living in high tax states. Now, look, guys, we've heard promises like this before. So really, what makes this any different, right? Like, what makes these promises any different than what we've heard in the past? That's what I want to know, right? Like, can we really trust what we're being told this time around? That's my question for you guys, because I don't want to be lied to. I know you guys don't want to be lied to, right? So, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't want to be led astray. I don't want to be juked around, as they say. But I do feel like this time, hopefully, will be different, you know? But dear future you just turned 65. You're starting at a mountain of Medicare choices, and you're probably wondering, how am I supposed to figure this out? Well, this is exactly why Chapter exists. They help people, real people, like Julie in Kansas, who saved $400 a year, and Jamie in Texas, who saw $600 go right back into her Social Security checks. That's freaking awesome. Their founders, they built this company after their own families got some horrible advice. And now Chapter is making sure it doesn't happen to you. No stress, no charge, totally free. Just smart, kind people who compare every single plan to what's best for you. So I'll leave a phone number for you guys so you can give them a call. Matter of fact, give them a call right now. 909-563-8279. You should see the phone number on your screen right now. I'll also leave a link and the phone number in the description down below and in the pinned comment, or you can visit them online at askchapter.org/Ron. Your future self will thank you. Well, for one, guys, this package that we're talking about here, it is tied to a July 4th deadline. So that means they have to act by a certain time. That means the pressure is on. But second, there's also a major move that's happening behind the scenes that could fund all of this. And if you guys think that the $5,000 check was controversial, wait until you hear how much they want to raise the debt ceiling. And we're going to talk about that, okay? So stick with me, because in just a second here, we're going to dive into the full scope of President Trump's big, beautiful bill, the $5.3 trillion debt ceiling bombshell, and whether this whole thing could just collapse before it even gets off the ground. But let's continue, guys. So let's talk about the monster package that's driving all of this. What House Speaker Mike Johnson and President Trump are calling this big, beautiful bill. Yes, I know. It's a corny name. I would have come up with something way cooler. But even Mike Johnson can't say it without cracking a smile. But don't let the branding of this thing fool you, right? The bill is deadly serious. In fact, it is the single largest legislative package being pushed since Trump re-entered the national spotlight. And it's not just about the tax cuts and the dividend checks, guys. It's about reshaping everything from our economy to our energy to our national security. And what's inside this thing? Well, here's what we know so far. We know that there's tax relief for working class Americans, as we just talked about. There's some regulatory reform designed to cut the red tape and unleash small businesses again. Energy dominance, boosting U.S. production and reducing the reliance on foreign oil. Drill, baby, drill, right? And perhaps the most politically sensitive, border security. So all of this is in one big, beautiful package. And so now here's why this matters. Congress already knows they cannot pass this piece by piece. They've got to negotiate the entire package at once. And this means the deals, the drama, the delays, and the hidden line items, all that pork. It's all coming to a head, guys. And that brings us straight into the border security and the fiscal responsibility. These are two phrases that really stir up major emotions on both sides of the aisle. Now, let's go ahead and start with the border, shall we? So Trump and the GOP, these leaders are insisting that no relief package moves forward unless it includes significant new border enforcement measures, right? We're talking increased border patrol staffing, new surveillance infrastructure, and stricter policy language designed to stop the flow of illegal immigration cold in their tracks. Why? Well, it's because they're linking this to the Doge dividend eligibility, arguing that no federal benefits should go to anyone who entered the country illegally. Do you want any, because see, all this money is coming from like one pot, right? Do you want any of that money that could go to you going to illegal immigrants? Just drop a quick yes or no in the comments, guys. Do you think illegal immigrants should get some of the Doge dividend stimulus money? I don't know where you stand on this, so you got to let me know. Whether you agree or disagree, this is the hill that the Republicans are prepared to fight on. And so now combine that with their second major push, which is the fiscal responsibility. Now, of course, we got Mike Johnson, who said it pretty loud and clear. He said, hey, we are the party of responsibility. And that means they're pushing for long-term savings. They're not just quick cash grabs. But here's why this gets tricky. How do you promise $1.5 trillion in tax cuts, $5,000 checks, no taxes on tips or Social Security, fund the border, expand oil production, and still saying you're being responsible? Because that sounds like a whole lot of money going out, right? Well, you don't. Not without a massive new move to fund it all. That brings us back to the $1.5 trillion in promised savings and the wild difference between President Trump's plan and the reality that Congress is willing to accept. Now, you're not going to believe what they're planning to cut or how much of it is actually being recycled math, right? So stick with me, guys, because what you're about to hear could determine if you ever see a dime from this bill or if this is all just smoke and mirrors, somebody yanking your chain, right? All right, so let's break down the math behind this thing that way you don't have to question this thing, right? Because while everybody's talking about spending, there is a bold claim flying under the radar. House Speaker Mike Johnson says that this bill will deliver $1.5 trillion in savings to the American people. That sounds pretty good, right? It sounds great. Until you realize that President Trump and Elon Musk both have floated a savings goal of $2 trillion. And so basically, what we're hearing from inside the GOP leadership, they're not getting there. In fact, many analysts are saying the real savings might not even hit $1 trillion, especially if the bill gets gutted or loaded with pet projects at the last minute. But of course, here's the kicker. Even if they do hit the $1.5 trillion mark, where does the money go? Well, it's supposed to be funding the tax cuts that we talked about, the elimination on taxes on tips, overtime, Social Security, and a small percentage of it, about 20%, supposed to be actually funding the Doge dividend checks. So theoretically, everybody wins. But if you've been watching politics for more than 10 minutes, you probably already know what's going to happen next, right? Now we enter the danger zone. The $5.3 trillion debt ceiling increase. Yep, you heard that right, guys. To pull all of this off, Republicans, the party that once ran on reducing debt, are now preparing to raise the debt ceiling by $5.3 trillion. Now, that says they're saying it's necessary to make the math work. They claim that the spending is offset by savings that will ultimately reduce the debt in the long run. So, like, basically, we have to go into debt to get out of debt or something like that. But let me ask you this. Does adding over $5 trillion to the national debt sound like we're saving money? Does that sound like we're saving money, guys? Yes or no? Or is this just new math with a fresh coat of paint? Are we slapping some lipstick on a pig with some big lips? Oh, man. We saw this under Biden. Y'all remember that, right? Biden said $200 a month boost for Social Security. Anybody remember that? Some of y'all remember that. He promised $200. He promised a Social Security boost of $200 per month. That turned into like a one-time inflation bump. It turned into a one-time inflation bump that never, ever materialized. Unless I'm wrong. I didn't hear about a $200 per month Social Security boost actually going through. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Did any of you receive that extra $200 per month? Because if you did, please let me know. Maybe I'm just dead wrong, and I'll admit it. But now it's happening again, guys. Only this time it's being called Trump math. Big promises, bold numbers, but in the end, the real number might be smaller, much smaller. And here's the real bombshell, right? While they're debating the numbers behind the scenes, you may be left waiting, like while they negotiate you out of the bill entirely. And so that leads us into a couple of things. It leads us to, can we even trust the promises from Congress anymore? And how much time is actually left before this window slams shut? Well, don't go anywhere, because what's coming next could explain why the $5,000 check might vanish completely and why Congress is running out of time fast. Okay, so let's keep going here. I want to be blunt with you, because if you've been paying attention over the last few years, you probably already know what's coming. Congress has a bad habit of lying to the American people. I mean, never mind Nancy Pelosi and Jasmine Crockett and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and AOC. Never mind them. It doesn't matter if it's Democrats or Republicans. Both sides have mastered the art of overpromising and underdelivering. Remember this? Under Biden, we were told that seniors were going to get $200 a month in Social Security boosts for 2 years. They were talking about $4,800 in total benefits, guys. But what did we get instead? Oh, we got a one-time cost of living bump that barely covered inflation with no sustained increase. And now we're hearing a very familiar song, just with different words, different lyrics. They're calling it Trump math this time. Big slogans, big numbers, big speeches. But what does it really mean for you, right? Well, according to insiders, the $5,000 check that they talked about a few months ago, it's quietly being shrunk, shaved down, possibly even restructured. And if the trend continues, that check could shrink to a little under $1,500 per household. $1,500. Now, some people are like, Ron, what are you complaining about? I'd still take $1,500. Let me ask you guys, would you be upset if you only got a $1,500 check, or would you be mad that you didn't get the $5,000 check? Where do you stand on that one, guys? But here's the kicker. Here's the real kicker. Not every household even qualifies. First of all, you need to be a net taxpayer, which means if you're retired or below a certain income threshold, you might not get anything. Let that sink in for a second. They're selling you a miracle. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're not even on a list, right? Now, if you think we have time to fight this thing or wait it out, let me know, because I don't think so. Congress is on a clock. Remember that July 4th deadline? The fuse is burning fast, guys. House Speaker Mike Johnson made it very clear. They want this big, beautiful bill hammered out before the July 4th holiday. Now, what do we know about Congress? Congress is a bunch of freaking liars and procrastinators. It's like imagine like when your kids had a book report and they had like 3 months to do the book report, and it didn't even matter how long they had. They would always wait to the last minute. Here it is, April 25th, 2025, and they need to have this bill hammered out by July 4th. So they got what? There's like 2 months and change, two and a half months, maybe 2 months and a week. Watch Congress wait until July 3rd at like 10 p.m. still arguing about this thing. That's what they do, guys. These clowns in Washington wait till the last minute all the time. Guys, if you've watched how slow Congress moves, you already know when they rush, they cut corners. When they cut corners, you get cut out. That's where things get real dangerous. Because in these final weeks, they're going to be scrambling because they waited till the last freaking minute. And what always happens during a scramble? Last minute add-ons, sneaky pork, backdoor deals. Hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. That kind of nonsense. Special favors. Guys, we've seen this over and over. Billions of dollars get stuffed into the shadows. Meanwhile, the promises to the regular Americans get watered down or tossed out altogether. And then they got the nerve to ask for you to vote for them again so we can try again, because they're just going to lie to you again. So don't fall asleep now, guys. We are about to enter the most chaotic phase of this bill. And this really takes us into two final, very, very critical pieces of the story. The shadowy role of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, and how it's being used to justify these cuts. And let's not forget about the explosive risk of hidden policy add-ons that could hijack the bill completely. So stick with me, guys, because the last part of this story, this is where the real battle is about to begin. So, all right, let's talk about the engine behind all of this talk about savings, right? Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about the fact that this is called Doge, which is short for the Department of Government Efficiency, and it's one of the least understood yet most powerful forces operating behind the scenes right now. This is not some meme coin. We're not talking about the Doge cryptocurrency coin, guys. No. Doge is the federal government's internal audit and cut machine. And it's being used to justify the entire $1.5 trillion savings plan. So what is Doge doing exactly? Some people are checking their cryptocurrency charts. No, not that Doge. It's targeting waste. It's targeting fraud and inefficiency in bloated federal programs. It's cutting back on overlapping agencies, deadweight contracts, and outdated technology. And it's also redirecting that money back toward Trump's core promises: tax cuts, tip tax elimination, Social Security relief, and potentially those Doge dividend checks. Now, in theory, it sounds great, but in practice, here's what people are worried about, or at least what I'm worried about. When you move fast and cut deep, important programs can get slashed away. And that's why this next thing matters so much here. The possibility of hidden policy add-ons. Because here's what always happens at this stage. At this big, beautiful bill stage, if it gets finalized, members of Congress, both sides of the aisle, Republicans in Congress, Democrats in Congress, they're going to try to slip these pet projects in. They're going to try to slip those special interests perks in there. Remember USAID, right? How'd that get in there? USAID, right? Completely unrelated amendments. Remember the last time that they passed a major spending bill? They funded the border wall contracts, the climate initiatives, gender studies overseas. Y'all remember all this nonsense that was in that USAID program, right? Even $25 million for museum renovations, all tucked inside of this relief bill. They had all these shadow shell corporations that were getting paid from federal funds. These people stole that money. Some people say that Congress stole money from Social Security and used it for other programs. But it's not just politics, guys. It's theft by legislation. And this is the moment when it happens right now. So as Americans are focused on these dividend checks and tax relief and Social Security and no tax on tips, the career politicians know the game. They're in that back room dealing their way through a list of lobbyist wins. So if you walk away with anything from this video, let it be this, guys. Don't just read the headlines. I want you to watch the fine print. Follow the line items, the amendments, and the quiet deletions that will tell you who's really getting the money. Because this bill, it could be the biggest win for working class Americans in a generation. Or it could be a giant sleight of hand. I personally think that you deserve to know the truth before it's too late. Now, guys, if this video opened your eyes, don't stop here. Join me inside the Liberty Pursuit Network, where we break this stuff down without the mainstream media spin. I want you to learn how to protect your money as well. Keep what's yours and build financial freedom, even if Washington's playing games with your future. So you can join us in the Liberty Pursuit Network, link in the description down below, or you could also join us in our Patreon community. We would love to have you over there as well. Because, guys, freedom doesn't just come from Congress. It comes from you. So all I ask is that you hit the like button, share this video with a friend who's waiting on that dividend check, and drop a quick comment down below. Like, what do you think is really going to happen before July 4th? Anyway, stay sharp, stay free. It's Ron Yates here. I'm out.